This is the third video that I'm doing. It's still the 8th of January, and I'm in the same group, the S&P 500X, or the Spider XLI, the stocks that make up this list of stocks. And I just want to show you that if you have favorite scans, you can apply scans to these sectors and maybe come up with some potential trades. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my quick pick. This is where I currently am under my 2025 warehouse views, and I'm going to just start looking for some trades based upon some of my scans. Now my Ron Brown daily scans, these are my basic scans, which I look at quite a bit, but I've also taken these scans, not all of them, but some of them, and I am categorizing. Let me close this up so it's clear. Categorizing them. Category trades, end of day and intraday, and you open this up and you can see that I have momentum trader bullish and bearish, end of day and intraday. So let's concentrate on this category today, and I'll just show you a few of them. I won't be able to cover all of them, but momentum trader. I like this continuation indicator because it shows me stocks that are continuing to go higher. So let's go to the intraday version, and you can see that I've cut it down from, let's see, 70 securities, it's updating right now, to 5 securities. And I'm sorted on raw combo, and it's the intraday range, intraday price change combo. Now if you look closely at this, you can see that there is red with the American Airlines group, and the reason it's not at the bottom is because the intraday range is so high. In this particular combo, it looks at both the range and the percentage price change. So high range and the price is pretty flat, so that's why it's here. But that really doesn't even matter because there's so few stocks in here in this list. There's only 5 of them. So let's start with UAL. You can see that it crossed over yesterday on the 3-6 crossover, and the VPOC 3 days ago. So I need to bring up the charts. I'll click on United Airlines. You can see that this has been a very strong weekly chart. Bring up the arrows here. The crossover, I need to clear this out and redraw these. Okay, so the VPOC was crossed over here, and the 3-6 crossover was, what did I say, yesterday, 0. And it crossed over. Then, very strong weekly chart, and it's been in consolidation here, and it's going to try to break past resistance. So what makes this a continuation stock is that there's certain criteria that has to be met. I'm going to erase this, and one of the criteria is that the 3 has to be above the 6, and we know it is. There has to be pocket pivot, volume pocket pivot, or these blue lines have to be here. The volume point of control has to be positive, and the close has to be greater than the open. So that is my continuation filter. Now, if there is an effort to rise rather than the pocket pivot volume, that also counts as a continuation, passing the continuation screen, I should say. So it's just a way to find stocks that have crossed over they're already on the move and they may be continuing. So let's look at the rest of these stocks here. I'm going to look at AAL. You can see that the 3 is crossed over here. I'll bring up the arrow again. 3 has crossed. There's pocket pivot volume on these 2 days. The VPOC is also positive. So this is a continuation stock. Now, it may not continue, but as of the scan from last night, it is passing or meeting all of the criteria. Erase this. Let's look at the other stock, GE Aerospace. Bring the arrow back up, and you can see that the 3 is above the 6. The easiest way is to look at the histogram. And now there was a pocket pivot here yesterday, but in this instance, it just happened to be a negative pocket pivot. Sometimes this will happen, but you can see how narrow the body was. But today, because the 3 is above the 6 and the open is greater, or the close is greater than the open, it still qualifies as a continuation. Maybe not as strong, but the trigger was back here with the 3 crossing the 6 and the VPOC positive, and since it's above the 3 and the 6, it still qualifies as a continuation. And it's getting a low volume test today. You can see that right here. Okay, just moving on down. AM Company. I didn't look at the weekly chart on the prior stock, but anyway, you can see this has been a strong chart, and it's been in congestion now for quite some time. But the 3 is above the 6 as of right here. And here is the effort to rise, plus the volume pocket pivots, plus the VPOC. So these meet the criteria for the continuation scan. And one more. All the criteria are met on here. This may or may not continue, but when I designed the scan quite some time ago, I felt that those criteria were enough to pull out stocks that may be continuing. I should probably use the term may be, and that's the way it works for this scan. So I'm still in the XLI industrial sector. I'm going to bring this up. So that's continuation intraday. Now, if you only want stocks that have their fan up, you click on this, and that cuts it down to 3 stocks. This one had 5 with the fan up. You can see the fan is up if you look up here where the cursor is, and that cuts down the number of stocks to look at. Let's go through the rest of these quickly. This is Perfect Speculator. None of these stocks meet that criteria. It's a 52-week high or a 3.25-year high. Wyckoff demand higher volume, wider spread intraday. You can see that we have a different list of stocks here than we did with the continuation. And these stocks meet the criteria. Higher volume or above average, and a wide spread or above average. And the close is a minimum of mid, but the stronger ones are very high. Okay, let's look at a few of these. And you can see if I click on yesterday's, very high and wide. This is what this up here is referring to. It's right here in the chart also. If I click on the correct day, that is reflected. It's in the chart what's also in the warehouse view. So we have, let's this one. Here's Delta Airlines. So clicking on yesterday, above average, you can see that this is up here. And this one looks like it's setting up nicely too with 3 VPA flags. Paycheck, above average. If I click on this, you can see this is the information from yesterday, as is this. So that's the way this works. Company. Nice move. Well, starting a nice move maybe. And then Pakar or Pakar, I'm not quite sure. Okay, now this one's been moving, but today it's pulled back a little bit. Now what do we have next? Effort to rise. There's only one, 3M. And that was yesterday. And then what do I have in here? Effort to rise, fan up. There's nothing. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at this. But I'm just pointing out that you can narrow this list down very quickly by looking at these different scans. And there are many other scans in here in these categories. End of day and intraday. Here's strong fundamentals and volume price analysis. This is where I am so far. These are going to change. Let's just do this one quickly, see if there's anything. Nothing passes the criteria in the XLI that meets my quality, momentum, and fundamental scan. And taking a quick look at it, have to trade 500,000 shares, net profit margin of 10% at least, ROE at least 10%, and the earnings and revenue have to change compared to the prior quarter and be up 25% from the low. And notice that this is attached to a smart group in the Ian and Brown smart groups, high profit margins. So pretty stringent filter, and nothing comes through here. Now, if I go to, as soon as this updates, if I hit my alternate space bar and then apply the filter to all securities, you can see there are only 38 stocks that meet the criteria for the quality, momentum, and fundamental and momentum scan. Let's look at the intraday. You can see that on a day like today where nothing really is going on, that there are several which are fundamentally strong based upon this filter that are going up. Okay, that's it for this video. Like I said, I'm trying to keep these videos between 10 and 15 minutes, and I'll be doing more and more of them. Thank you for listening.